Good day everybody and welcome back. So today we're going to be making some round tabletops. Now I attached mine to some spindle legs here and they come in all different lengths. You can make end tables and all different sizes of things, but it's the tabletops that are the star of the show today. So we need to make a circle jig and it's completely adjustable. You can make all different sizes of tables with this guy, but first we need to prep the wood. Alright, now for this project there's going to be no complex milling procedures going on. I'm using straight off the shelf 1x4s that I bought at my local home center. Now this is a 1x4x6 oak and I've got a couple of 1x4x8 oaks as well. Species doesn't matter, you can use whatever species you want. I just got oak because it's what I wanted. Now we are still going to have to do a glue up, unfortunately. If you don't have the clamps for a glue up, you've seen me use these before. This is a pine project panel. You can literally just go out and buy one of these at the hardware store. And it is already a pre-glued up laminated panel. So this will work just fine for you too. Now for these guys, however, I am going to be doing a 12-inch, a 14-inch, and two 16.5-inch tables. So my 16.5-inch tables are going to be cut out of the 8-foot boards because I can get 5 pieces out of them. So I'm going to cut them to about 17 inches long, glue 5 of them up. That gives me extra material all the way around. Same with my 12-inch board. 4 of these 3.5-inch wide boards will give me more than 12 inches. So I'll cut them to about 13 inches. That way I can cut my 12-inch table out of that. My 14-inch table, however, I'm gonna be a bit tight because 4 of these boards laminated together is exactly 14 inches. And I want a little bit cut off all the way around. So I'm gonna have to make this table like 13 3/4, but nobody's gonna know unless you tell them or they watch this video. Don't tell them. Let's get to cutting. Okay, with everything cut to size, now we can start finding our show faces, but you want to pay attention to your end grain as well. If you notice, my end grains here are all sort of curling upwards, and if you glue them together, the entire slab will want to curl over time. You want your end grains to sort of be in a wave pattern, up, down, and that'll end up keeping the entire slab flatter over the life of the tabletop. Then when you're doing your glue up, make sure you don't just squeeze out a bead of glue and call it a day. Make sure you brush it out with either a brush or your finger or something and you have 100% coverage on your glue face, because anything without glue on it is, well, it's not going to be glued. It's going to be a weak spot. You also don't want to clamp these within an inch of their life because you end up actually clamping a bow into the board, which is what we don't want. So just clamp them enough where you have a little bit of glue squeeze out and then call it a day. That's it. And then just leave them for a couple hours. Once they're dry, pop them out of the clamps, and then we can just scrape off the excess glue with our chisel. Now one last thing I had to do, I did have one knot hole in my tabletop. Now I grabbed some Starbond CA glue in order to fill this in, and it's a lot better than epoxy because then I could hit it with the accelerator and it dries virtually instantaneously. And I can go ahead and sand the entire thing and flatten it with 80 grit paper. So if you guys want some Starbond, I got a discount code for you down below. All right, now that we got our slabs flattened, we can start making our circle jig. I'm going to be using some 1/4-inch birch ply for our circle jig, and it's about an inch wider than the base plate on my router here. And it's also longer than I need. That way, once I've got this thing made up for my router, I can actually just go ahead and punch different holes in this thing for different lengths, and I can use this for a whole bunch of different sizes going forward. I can keep this template. Now I'm just going to be using my little trim router here. If you have a plunge router, it might be a little bit easier because you have set depths that you can use. This is going to be a little bit more tricky because we have to unlock the collar while it's running, lower it a little bit, and then lock it again and keep on going, but it's honestly not the end of the world. A couple of small circles, this will work just fine. So the first thing we got to do is take our base plate off our router. Now using our base plate from the router, we can go ahead and mark our holes on our template here. Now I'm just going to mark my screw holes here so I can attach my router to the template here, and I'm not going to cut the center one out. I'm never going to be using a different bit with this jig. It's always just going to be my router and my straight bit. So I'm just going to plunge through here and make my own hole with the router and the bit here in a second. But if you're going to be using a bigger bit in the future, you can go ahead and punch the center out. All right, now just to slim this up a little bit and hopefully make it slide a little bit easier, I'm just going to taper this down. I'm going to make a mark, half an inch or so back from the template. This has nothing to do with usability, just aesthetics, and I hope it slides a little easier, like I said. Now with our 1/4 inch straight cut bit here in the router, just set slightly below the height of our base plate here, we can go ahead and attach our template, or jig, whatever you want to call it. Now we need to plunge our bit through the jig. Now I'm only going through about 1/8 of an inch, just enough to make a hole, because this is where our reference marks are going to be measured from in order to determine the size of tabletop you want. Then on what's going to be the top side of the jig, we can go ahead and make the marks for the size of tables we want. Now make sure you pull your measurement from the edge of where the router bit came through, not the center. And then make your marks lengthwise. So a 14-inch table is going to be a 7-inch mark, obviously, and then find center on the jig as well. Then our pivot point for the entire jig is going to be a large finishing nail that we're going to punch through. Make sure you find center on the slab as well, and then that is where you're going to nail the finishing nail down onto, and the entire router is going to pivot. Just make sure that when you do this, you have the tabletop sort of elevated on something that the router's not going to run into, and it's not going to bottom out later on. Then just slowly elevate the router, fire it up, and slowly plunge it down into the tabletop. Now this first part here I've got in real time, just so you can see how slow I was going with this. You don't want the router to sort of catch or kick back or bounce on you, and you don't want to go too deep that you get burning, you stress the router out. So it's just literally a matter of a bunch of shallow passes. Once you've made an entire loop, drop the router a bit more, make a loop, drop the router, make a loop, drop the router, so on and so forth until you get all the way through. With them cut out, and we can just do some cleanup work. Now I'm just filling my nail holes in on the bottom here with some more of that black Star Bond, but you can use wood filler, whatever you got. It's entirely up to you. Then just sand the entire thing as well as the edges with some 120 and then up to some 220 grit sandpaper. And I'm also just taking my router again with an 1/8 inch roundover bit and just softening all the edges and then just touching them up by hand to smooth it out. Now the last step before we finish these guys out is to get all the dust off of them. So I'm just using a towel just slightly dampened with water. I'm just wiping the entire thing down. And then after that, we can go ahead and add our finishing coats. And for that, for me, it's just going to be a coat of stain and then 2 coats of a wipe-on poly, but you can finish these out however you please. Now with everything good and dry, we can go ahead and attach our table legs. Now these are the 4-inch hairpin legs that I bought. They're steel. I also bought some 20-inch ones, but there's a whack load of different sizes out there. So if you guys want some, I'll have them linked down below. Now to mount them was really easy. I literally just made sure that the tips were about 3/8 of an inch away from the edge of the tabletop. And then I just squared them up with each other and just made a square on the bottom of the table. It was honestly the easiest way to do it. For the small little 12-inch table, however, I did run into a problem. They were too long and they were sticking out from underneath the table. So I had to knock off that last hole on every single table leg and just touch up the bare steel with some black spray paint on a Q-tip. But it was a quick and easy fix. That way they weren't running into each other and they fit nicely after that. So those are the round tabletops, you guys. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you liked them. If you do and you guys build some, send me an email, hit me up on Instagram, whatever you got, but I would love to see them. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.